Okay, so I think we're ready to start if you're all set. So thanks for coming along. Just wanted to say, appreciate the invitation to do this, and I'll introduce myself. So my name's Dan Puplett. So I've met some of you before, I know, and others I haven't met. And I gather you've been doing some other STEM sessions as well as a group together. So I've heard that those have gone well. So that's good to hear. And so this is an extension of that, which I'm excited to be involved in, and a few bits of orientation. But just to start with, so we've got various kind of obvious bits of shelter, so depending on what the weather does, we'll be moving around a bit as well, but we'll also at times be sitting down, so if it gets really wet, we've got shelter here. In fact, a really dry place is under these Sitka spruce trees just here, so we've got various options. And at lunchtime as well, Laura put in a request for a fire, so so we'll have a chance to have a bit of a fire at some point, but otherwise we'll be a kind of mixture of staying still in spots and moving around. In terms of toilets, there's the line of wooden buildings just here. The longest one, just to the closest to the pond, there's a really long one. That's got the toilet in it. At the very far end, there's a kitchen, like on the left-hand side. It's the next door along. You just go straight in through the second door from the left, and you'll see the toilets right ahead of you there. So that's toilet sorted. Other stuff we can cover as we go. But what would be helpful for me actually is just to get a sense, get everyone's name if I can, and also just a sense of what you would want to get from the session as well. So the overall theme, we're focusing on a bit on the science and the math side of the STEM. So the sciencey side is really looking at plants and wildlife in particular. That's a big interest of mine. So that will be something we'll be focusing on quite a lot. And different ways that we can weave that into activities with early years, and then also we'll be doing some of the maths side of stuff. I'm really glad it's kind of early years levels maths, because my math isn't top notch, but this should probably be about alright for me. But just different ways that we can weave that in, again with nature-based activity. And as with other sessions, I'm really interested to hear your own experience as well. So I'll have some ideas that I'll share. But really, when it comes to early years, you're all the experts. I'd be really interested to hear, like, if we have a particular activity, and you might say, "Oh, actually, I've tried this in this particular way and it works well," or "What if you tried it this way?" When we do that, everyone else benefits. So if you have a particular insight or idea, everyone else benefits from that, and I learn stuff as well. So it's something where we'll definitely the invitation to share ideas. But hopefully there'll be a range of different ideas here that you can take away with you, and hopefully will be of use. So we'll go around, and as we do a round of names, what I'd be interested to hear as well, I often like to just because I'm into nature, just hear about anything that you particularly enjoy in the natural world, or something you've seen maybe in the last few days, or something that, it could be anything, like something that you really appreciate or enjoy about nature. And then if there's anything particularly from this session that you'd like to learn, feel free to say, if there's nothing particular, you don't have to, but if there's something that really helps me as well, kind of tailor the session a bit more. So I'll start. I'm Dan, and something I appreciate, actually this morning, just sticking my head out the back door here and seeing the moon really low just before it was setting, just kind of just at the edge, kind of crescent moon basically, and it just looked fantastic this morning. So I'm into a bit of a space geek as well, so that was quite fun to see. I'll hand over to you.
I'm Jolene, I'm with DYW, and I'm just here for food. Nature-wise, I want a pet sheep, but apparently they're harder work than they look, so
I'm Emma. With nature for me is I just love water, the crunch of leaves, it's just the feel the water gives you. What am I hoping to achieve today? Probably just to learn, because probably trees and things aren't my strongest points, but somebody else on the team is, so it's lovely to see what the children get from that, and identifying leaves and stuff. That's not my strong point, but maybe for today it will be.
My name's Sarah Greenwood, and what do I need to tell you?
what you know interested about.
I walk every day because I've got a dog, and I do love being outside and in the trees, walk by the river, but I like spotting animals. Saw a badger the other night, just going off and it was getting dusk and I got a bit spooked because I had to get back and round and back to the house. But yeah, no, it's just all aspects, and I'd like to learn about, like Emma said, the trees and naming flowers and just having a little bit more knowledge really. So just like you see the flowers, you know them, but I couldn't name them.
Yeah, great.
I'm Dawn from Childminders Nursery. I was brought up in a farm. My husband's a gamekeeper. Nature's all around me really. So yeah, I'm quite lucky in that sense. So I'm not sure what it's my memory. I forget the names of things. Yeah. You know, like the trees and that. I know them, but trying to remember the names. That's it, yeah.
Thanks.
Can't really hear, sorry. I'm Darcy. I'm pretty clueless, to be honest. I wasn't an outdoorsy person until I started childcare, but now I am an outdoorsy person. And I just want to be able to tell children what this is, how it's grown, what's helping it grow, and all like the little details. As far as nature for me, it's like I like growing pumpkins and sunflowers. That's about it. So just to be a bit more clued up.
Thanks.
I'm Nicola and I'm from Keith Nursery. We've got a really good woodland area that we're allowed to use it just now because it's been burnt down, but that the kids get to use it as much, and I just want to be able to do more with them in the woods and a better knowledge.
My name's Brian from Barnard Preschool. This is coming back to my roots really. I first studied in environmental heritage studies, so identification and things was part of my course. So it's really more of a profession for me, and to learn more of how I can get it towards early years.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jenny from Moray Council ELC, and I'm the same. I used to work for Christie's Offers for 3 years, so I'm used to plants, but again I forget the names of them. And I'd like to look at more den building and things, if you can get in natural things to build natural things. I live by the coast, I love walking my dog on a rough night by the waves. I know, everybody's like so jealous when I say, oh, see this, it's just glorious, or a nice calm morning when the sun's just coming up. Really like that. It's just getting the kids into more things. Like everybody says, identifying plants, den building, maybe safe fire play. I know you do fire play, but it's just point now. Doing a bit of fire, maybe 2 heads.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Max, and I'm the Childminders Development Officer for Moray Council. And like these guys, I've got a dog, so I do a lot of beach walking, forestry walking and clubbing. And again, the nature, I just love it every day, how it's different, regardless of what kind of walk I do. Favourite part of nature is when I open my curtains every morning, because I've got wee birds and they eat the seeds and all that stuff, so I really enjoy that. Flowers and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a big flower person, I'm sorry, even when they're delivered to me. I'm kind of with the idea to deliver flowers. So rather than 45 cents. I'd rather the voucher. Not because I don't like nature, just because that's just the way I live it. But I do love the fact that being able to go outdoors rather than living in a city or anything else like in Glasgow is a big benefit to us, to mental health, personal health, as well as everything else round about us. So that's my favourite. And I like the birds.
Thanks. Thank you.
I'm Claire from Naturalist Nursery, and where we are, we're not like within sort of walking distance to woods and things, so it'd be good to like know how to use the trees that are around us. And we have used the common garden that does have some trees, but I don't know what they are or what. The children always ask where this leaf came from or that leaf, and we're just like that tree over there. So it'd be good to know, you can actually say what kind of tree the leaves are coming from and just how to use it. It's like using it for maps or things like that.
Yeah. Great, thanks.
I'm Hazel. I live in Mossy, obviously it's beside the beach, so nature-wise I paddleboard, so I like being out in the water, so I'm quite comfortable with water stuff. I work in Aberlour, which is like a direct contrast, so I find myself asking the children about farming things because I'm curious. So there's a trade-off there. And I find, like, if we've got shells or something, I speak quite naturally about shells in the week here because they don't go to the beach every day like children who live beside the beach have that opportunity, obviously. So I'm interested in learning more countryside nature because that reflects the setting we're working. So you probably going to see the dolphins in the sea from that you get to the beach.
Aye, petrifying.
If you go further out, it depends if I'm with my mum or not. If I'm with my mum, I'm stuck in the lossy basin because she can't get up, she can't do anything. She just sits there and goes, this is really good for my back. So, but if I go out on the other side, if I take the kayak out, then
Take paddleboard in the colony and somebody goes to me, there's a seal over there, and I'm like, oh right, okay, and then I thought, oh no, I don't like seals. And it's like I'm going on my knees. Oh no, I don't like it. And then somebody drew a seal following me, I was like, nah.
He was out on his paddleboard at Birkhead and they had a whale and over in a porpoise and stuff, and he was like, and his daughter and my daughter are friends, and like, oh my god, thank god we weren't out on the kayak with you when you were doing that.
I'm not the best paddleboarder as it is, but when I was thinking I needed speed, I was doing on my knees.
It's just respecting them, you just have to respect, you respect their boundary and they'll respect.
When we were out there,
paddleboards.
sounds posh. We were out in our boat in Cullen Bay, and the dolphin pod started rushing the boat, so we just cut the engine and just let them all come round and dipping and diving, and going around the boat and coming back again. I hate going out in the boat because I feel so seasick, but it was the best day. And my husband says, "Oh, would you ever come out again?" I went, "No." Leave it. But the dolphins were beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them going around.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm okay, I was done anyway. I'm Zoe.
Hi, I'm Zoe. I live and work in Lochte. So we're quite lucky because obviously we've got both. But it amazes me how many kids don't use it just because it's there. You think they will go to the beach or they will go to the woods and they don't. We went to Rose Isle for Christmas and a lot of them had never been, and to me that is not far. Do you know what I mean? And they were just anything being outside. Like we've got quite a few boisterous boys that just love making and exploring and dam building and any ideas really. I like to see the change in the seasons, that's my thing in nature.
Thanks.
I'm Diane, I work at Hopeman and I'm also a childminder. So from my childminding I do quite a lot of outdoors with them, and I live in Forest, so we're always out and about in the area. And then at Hopeman obviously we've got the beach and stuff there, so we use the beach and the woods when we're out and about. But yeah, just for me as well to know if the kids ask something about nature or trees or leaves or plants, that you can have a bit more knowledge to feel confident to tell them what they need to know.
I'm Rachel, I work at Strash Educator, but I live in Scotland, and my favourite thing about Naturalist is going out with my girls. I have 3 girls. The oldest 2 are at school, but on a Friday afternoon I take them out lunchtime and we spend the afternoon for the past few years now just being outside for a few hours, and we've got quite into doing some foraging, which I really love doing, but I know some bits and pieces and I'm getting more, and I think it's just one of those things year on year you kind of learn little bits and pieces more, but I'd love to learn more about that and more of the kind of like, I really like the sort of storytelling and folklore that's around it all, and the kind of medicine, kind of like medicinal kind of uses and that kind of thing, so I'd love to learn more about that.
I'm Jenny and I work for Moray Council's Early Years Officer, but I've been working in early years for quite a long time. It's Montessori and Steiner, and I do like being outdoors quite a lot. I like gardening, vegetable gardening. I'm from the States, so I'm very used to having like hot chili peppers, and we couldn't find any fresh jalapenos, so this last year we grew our own jalapenos and we still got a stash in the freezer that I'm hoarding, just using a little at a time so we can grow some more this year. So I really like doing that, and my favourite tree is the weeping willow, although I don't know if that's what it's called here. It's a willow tree that has the sort of weeping branches. That's my favourite tree.
So I'm Laura, I'm also an early years officer at the council. I love nature. My favourite thing is just now, because I have different favourite things, but just now, last year I planted 100 trees in my house, like around my garden, and my kids were taking the mick, saying that I'd planted 100 sticks.
So there's this long-term joke. They keep checking them. They're like, oh, it's still a stick, and they're not sticks now. So I was out surveying them last night, and there's buds, and I'm like, come and see. So so that's my favourite thing just now, gloating about my stick planting, which is now actually a trees.
Yeah, fantastic. That was Sharon.
Pardon?
That was Sharon.
Yeah.
She sells the house will be fully grown.
I know, I'll be like, oh, all that effort.
Brilliant. So thanks everyone. It seems like it's just picking up a theme there of definitely some people wanting to work on ID skills in particular and things like tree ID and stuff, which we'll definitely do some of, in plant ID. Maybe for some of you that would be a real refresher, and others it will be new stuff. But even if you're really familiar with some of the stuff, then you might have your own kind of insights or ideas that you can share, like ID tips and things like that. And it's always good. I always find there's always more to learn as well. Like, it doesn't matter how much like we've been looking at stuff, but there's always more to see, basically, whether it's a bird or a tree or whatever. There's always more. And and we'll look at a whole range of different activities and ways that we can apply it, as I say. So, to start with, we've got an activity just over here, but before we even do that, just because I can't wait because I'm so excited about it, I want to show you this, which